I have not been looking forward to this. I don't wanna. And you may be asking, well, why are you? Well, it is true that there have been some raids in this series that I have skipped, but that's because I felt like they really were not that relevant enough to do so. This one I can't really skip because it is relevant. And, you know, for the most part, the raid as a whole, it's not terrible. It's just that one particular boss fight that I think we can probably say is incredibly infamous amongst many of the player base. I can tell you what, it's that one boss fight that makes me not want to do this raid, which is a shame because there are some nice things to get in this raid. So I guess I should let you know why I'm starting here. In case any of you are wanting to try and find this so you can do so, the raid is located in Kalimdor, and it's located down here in Tanaris, at the Caverns of Time. So, here in the Caverns of Time, and you can get here either by flying down to Tanaris, or you can go to Dalaran, and then you can go into the central chamber where the portals are, and there's a portal that takes you to the Caverns of Time, which will take you right here. So let's go ahead and you can either fly into the caverns yourself, or you can just talk to the Steward of Time here, and he'll just take you down to that area, as opposed to doing it yourself. So there are a few different things here. I also want to mention something before we get into the raid. So Blizzard was doing something that I really liked that kind of carried over from Wrath of the Lich King. So you guys remember how back in Wrath we had before Icecrown Citadel was like, you know, live, or before you went to Icecrown, it was kind of set up with a few extra dungeons that they released specifically to lead up to it, which I believe were the Pit of Saren, the where is it? The Forge of Souls, and of course the Halls of Reflection. And you did all three of those dungeons back to back to back. Like, one would lead directly into the other. And they had a story that was crucial, because that was how you found out about where he left the sword. That's also where you found out about, you know, where we talked to Uther in the sword and then had to escape the Lich King. So in Cataclysm, leading up to this raid, Dragon Soul, they all did pretty much the same thing. A series of 3 dungeons, all, you know, 3 in a row, that were kind of a lead-in to the raid. And I believe it was, the first one was End Time, which, this image right here, holy moly, this is one of the most amazing images that I think any of us could ever see. Deathwing. Now, if you're wondering why this is, the story is that you basically get taken to the future, and you see what the end result is of Deathwing winning. You see the results. The world is destroyed. He won. But you know what he did after that? He impaled himself on Worm's Temple and killed himself. That's what that image is. He dropped himself on the temple to kill himself. Because, of course, Deathwing was insane. So he won, he destroyed everything, and then he just killed himself. That says a lot. But it's that image right there that speaks a lot. Also, this is a pretty cool dungeon, the fact you get to fight echoes of people who basically are telling you that you failed. How you failed us, how could you fail us? It's either Bane, Jaina, Sylvanas, Tyrande, and then we fight Murozond. Remember, we're dealing with the dragon flight that is trying to stop us from succeeding, which is a very complicated storyline as well. You get some extra cool, stuff here. Axe of the Tauren Chieftain. Anyway, I believe then the next one was the Well of Eternity. Yeah, because then here you actually get sent back to the past during one of the initial Legion invasions, during the War of the Ancients, I think, because you come across Queen Azshara and you face Manoroth, but you're also going with you being escorted by Illidan during this dungeon. But the way they wrote Illidan in this dungeon was not very good. I'm probably going to do a video at some point down the line where I actually show these dungeons in succession. But Illidan did not really look... They didn't really make Illidan look that great in this dungeon. In some ways it's like, oh yeah, it's Illidan. But in some ways it's like, oh, come on. Really? And then I think the last one that took place after that was... Which was it? I'm trying to remember which one it was. No, it wasn't that. No. Vanessa Van Cleef. No, not that one. Oh, the Hour of Twilight. Yeah, this was the third one. Where you are basically with Thrall at that point, trying to get Thrall to Wormrest Temple with the, to begin the whole thing with preparing the Dragon Soul to use it to defeat Deathwing, and you come across Benedictus, who is revealed, I am behind the Twilight's hammer. I'm here to stop you. So that's kind of how that whole storyline goes. As far as like telling the story and setting up the raid, I enjoyed it. Like I saw it like in succession. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a nice like build up and setup. Now, if you're wondering why I'm also not showing the trailer video for this, well, that's because I don't like the trailer video for this raid. Of all the trailer videos they've done, the one for Dragon Soul was very bland and boring and just not very creative, not very exciting. It doesn't get me pumped like Fall of the Lich King did or the Firelands one did. There was no like chills or goosebumps like the Fall of the Lich King one for me is like one of the best ones they've ever done, and the one for Dragon Soul was just as boring. And I think that may have been a sign that this was not going to live up to the expectations that we had, because when you think about this, we are going into a big final battle against Deathwing, a dragon the size of like mountains. Like, he is huge. This should be one of the most epic final battles ever. And instead we got, well, you'll see. Anyway, now that we're here in the Caverns of Time area, so this is where several dungeons and a couple of raids are. So here's the battle for Mount Hyjal. That's one I did skip, because as I said, even though it's kind of a nice little flash, stroll through memory lane to remember Warcraft 3, the fact that it's a horde mode raid where it's just wave after wave after wave after wave, I was like, nope, not doing this. The old Hillsbred Foothills. One of these, oh, there's the Well of Eternity one. The Black Morass. The Calling of Stratholme. Yeah, this is the one where you get to go through that with Arthas, with the Stratholme event, which also, that's where you get the Bronze Drake if you do it on Heroic and do a speed run of it. I'm trying to remember, is this the one? One of these is the one that actually has us go back in time to where Thrall... no, it's not that one. It may be the Foothills one, where Thrall is like back in the place where he was a slave. Yeah, it's got to be this one, the Foothills. So Dragon Soul's over here along with End Time and Hour of Twilight. So all three of the dungeons I mentioned, Well of Eternity, End Time, and Hour of Twilight, are all right here. And then Dragon Soul is over here. Now, I was thinking about how did I want to actually do this, like in terms of difficulty and such, because some of the other ones don't really offer anything, like in terms of phases, if I recall, I don't remember, in terms of heroic. However, there is something I noticed when I was kind of going back and forth between the stuff when it came to the loot. So, we all love to go after rare mounts, right? So, there are a few mounts you can get in this raid. There's also some really cool armor sets. If there's something that I really like about this this raid, is the Warrior armor set, which basically makes you look like Deathwing. You can purchase the baseline version of that raid of that armor set in Orgrimmar and be able to give that to your warrior and have him look like Deathwing. It's really cool. But there's also a few different rare dragon mounts in this. There's Experiment 12B, which I've heard is a very low drop rate, is extremely rare to get. There's also the Lifebinder's Handmaiden, and the Reigns of the Blazing Drake. The funny thing is, both of these drakes almost look exactly the same. They look like Alex Jaza, except with a different color shade. That's, as far as I could tell, that's basically the only difference. Here's the thing, though. Now, you get that from doing the final boss here. See that? Now watch what happens if I switch this to normal. Now you can only get the Blazing Drake. Now you can't get the but now you can't get the Handmaiden Drake if you only do it on normal. So because of that, we're gonna do this on 10-man heroic. Oh gosh. You know, you're probably thinking, why are you so like angst or stress? It's because of this one fight here. I'm so not looking forward to this, guys. I even double checked if the right mods and everything were installed because I have to have them on. You don't understand. I could not do this without the mods that showed me the timers on the screen. But we'll get to that. Let's go ahead and start this off and kind of show you the opening portion of this raid. Where basically it's all, you know, starting. Like the attack. Deathwing, the Twilight Hammer, they're sending everything they have at us at Wyrmrest Temple. And we are basically doing our final stand here at Wyrmrest Temple while trying to get the Dragon Soul ready in order to use it to defeat Deathwing. Because it's basically the only thing that can be able to penetrate his armor and his skin. And there he is, over there, by the way. Just, even from the distance, you can see there he is, just kind of flying around. So yeah, you can see all these different dragons here. Tons of dragons, lots of different elements and such for the Twilight Hammer. Because, remember, keep in mind, that they're getting help from the old gods, basically. Like, you're gonna see stuff that you're like, oh yeah, those look like servants of the old gods. And you're basically right. Again, Deathwing's just gonna be flying around, doing whatever until we face him later, so. So over here you can see one of our forces over here. I mean, they are invading Wyrmrest Temple, the home of the dragons. So, like, all the different dragons and their forces are here trying to aid us in defeating him. And again, he's just flying around. Just like, yeah, I got this. Alright, let's go ahead and make our way towards the first boss.
It's too far away.
Mortal shall turn me from my task.
Wyrmrest Accord, attack!
So who is this first guy? Morchok. The most powerful elemental still under Deathwing's sway. Morchok, once a passive guardian, is now convinced that his only respite will come with Azeroth's demise. Morchok rages against the foundation of Wyrmrest Temple.
Wyrmrest falls as we speak. All is lost.
Tyragosa yet lives. We must press on to the temple.
I didn't realize she was talking.
Weaklings, come down and fight, or I will bring you down.
Alright, so I better burst him down before he does that crystal thing. Because you know, if there's one thing I hate, it's instant death mechanics.
I don't have a time.
Where is he? Oh, he's on the other side. Okay.
I need to target Advance to the front!
Run away, little girl! Run away.
The siege must be broken. Wyrmrest Accord, defend the line!
Run away, little girl! Run away.
Okay.
The tower must fall.
The Twilight's hammer is retreating. The temple is ours. Fortify your positions within.
You can probably tell I've only done this raid once. So I have a lot of stuff to collect in here. Okay, I'm trying to remember how exactly this goes. Alright. Hope in the Hour Twilight. Alright, next up, I believe, will be Warlord Zanaz. Countless ages ago, Warlord
Thank you,
Zanaz.
sisters. I am renewed. The old gods have shown themselves. A tide of darkness sweeps from their gaping maws towards the temple. We must buy the aspects more time. The faceless generals, Zan-Az and Yorsaj, command the enemy legions from within the monstrosities you see on the horizon. You must strike them down if we are to survive long enough to end this. Take flight on the wings of my sisters. They will transport you as close as they dare.
Gotcha. Now will you let me talk? Alright. Wage endless war against the forces of Cthulhu and Yogg-Saron. Millennia have passed, but the warlord still serves the chaotic might of the old god N'Zoth. Deathwing has now unleashed this legendary Faceless One to crush the defenders of Murderous Temple. So it looks like he drops a few things. Alright. I find it funny, this one is named Valera. No, it is not. I do not believe it is the same Valera that you are thinking of. It's a different one. They just happen to have the same name. You can see the text in the chat box.
Once more shall the twisted flesh banners of N'Zoth titter and howl above the flyborn corpse of this world. After millennia, we have returned.
They basically like to, you know, what's the word? Postulate, you know, like blow themselves up a lot. Like, we are amazing and you will never defeat us. You know, they're very much like what the Burning Legion does.
I am amazing and this will be your last day alive.
You know, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden we take them down. And they're like, oh,
how could you have killed us?
Alright, and that just takes me back to the temple. And then I can go do the other one. The next one will be... Oh gosh, how do I pronounce this? Yorzaj the Unsleeping. Since the fall of the Bastion of Twilight, Yorzaj the Unsleeping has eagerly assisted Deathwing, providing the Destroyer with the means to release more Faceless Ones from their prisons deep beneath the earth. Their numbers are endless and their powers is beyond reckoning. And Yorzaj intends to reap a grim reward for his faithful service.
A single general remains. You must make haste.
Mm-hmm. Don't you just love the sight of those tentacles out there? I know I do. I do love this visual. It takes me right over this giant maw that looks like the Sarlacc pit from Return of the Jedi and just drops me into it.
Our numbers are endless. Our power beyond reckoning. All who oppose the Destroyer will die 1,000 deaths.
Ooh, I believe this is the boss fight where you have to... It's for a certain achievement. I believe it's called like Taste the Rainbow or something like that. Let me see. Where is it? Glory of the Dragon Soul Raider. Reigns of the Twilight Harbinger. Let's see. Yeah, Taste the Rainbow. Experience the following color combinations and then defeat on normal or heroic. Jeez. Yep, this would have to require me to come back and have to do this. Black and yellow, black and blue, red and green, purple and yellow. I'm not entirely sure how exactly this is supposed to work. Okay, so that's a black one. Black and yellow. Did that get checked off or something? When it says color combinations, I'm not really sure what exactly it's saying. Huh, I'll take that. You will drown in the blood of the old gods. All of you! Oh, Deathwing, your faithful servant has failed you. Ooh. Don't really care for the paladin set in this raid. Doesn't really look that great to me, or at least for what I'm hoping for. It's the warrior set that I was like, oh, that looks so cool. If you're curious, it's this right here. I mean, as far as paladin sets go, it's not bad. It's just not one that makes me go, oh man, this one. Like, at least the shoulder pads, the white tigers. Oh, man. Play like I'm the White Ranger. But that's for when we get to Pandaria. That'll be for next time. Alright, back to the temple.
The flow of darkness abates. It seems you truly are the heroes of legend. The aspects have already gathered and await your arrival. Go now.
Okay. I guess the next boss will be Hagara, the Stormbinder. One of the first students of arcane magic under the Forsaken showed surprising potential for one who had started learning so late in life. But in her undisciplined attempts to bind elementals into servitude, she was ensnared and twisted by the Wind Lord Alakir. Now fiercely loyal to the Twilight's hammer, Hagara binds others for her elemental masters to torment. And I assume it's this one here. I will say this is nice that in the middle of this raid that you can be able to basically use this place as a hub. Like, alright, let's stop here, let's get some food, let's get some drinks, you know, let's go ahead and repair our stuff. It's a nice little hub in the middle of the raid. I also have the Grand Expedition Yak to help with that as well, so. Once more into the... Oh, never mind. That was going to be dropped into the Gaping Maw again. A number of different dragons here. Hey, Deathwing! There's the Alliance gunship. There's the Hordes. There's Orgrimmar's hammer. Or Orgrim's hammer, excuse me. But yeah, basically everyone's here.
It's no use.
Oh!
The power of the dragon's soul is too great. I cannot wield it safely. The raging forces within it may be the doom of us all.
Then truly,
Stormu.
we are lost.
Alexstrasza,
Not
Ysera,
necessarily.
and Kalagos.
I believe, yes, it just might work. The focusing iris within the Eye of Eternity may allow us to converge the magical matrix contained within the Dragon Soul.
Yes, I see. We can finally turn Deathwing's own power back against him.
I sense danger. It is a trap. carefully laid for us at this crucial moment.
We have no choice. We must have faith in our allies.
Then I will open the way into the Eye of Eternity. You must not fail, heroes. The future of Azeroth hinges on your actions.
Right. So, a couple things before we head back into the Eye of Eternity. Go back there. Since the last time we were there. First off, Ysera. We miss you. May you rest in peace. Also, you're probably wondering, why is Kalecgos here? Why is he apparently now the aspect of magic? Because he was not the aspect of magic back in Wrath. Well, there was a event that happened where I think it was, who was it? The grandson of Malygos had tried to orchestrate a scheme or a plan so that he would get elected by the rest of the Blue Dragonflight to become the next aspect of magic, like Malygos was. But Kalecgos basically won over the hearts of the rest of the Blue Dragonflight, and they all voted for Kalecgos instead. And so now that's why Kalecgos is here as the new aspect of magic, more powerful than the other members of the Blue Dragonflight. And if you're wondering what, about the story about what's going on here, why is it that there are 4 different aspects here along with Thrall? Well, remember, Thrall is not the war chief of the Horde anymore. He has tried to become the world shaman, like the shaman of Azeroth, trying to be able to bring the power of the elements along with his own shaman power to be able to use it with the Dragon Soul to be able to use it to defeat Deathwing, because this is pretty much the only legit weapon we have at somehow defeating him. So that's just a couple things I wanted to point out. So now we're going back to the Eye of Eternity, which, again, that's where we faced Malygos in Wrath. So this should be fun.
I'm out of range. I need to get closer.
Even with the aspect of time on your still free doesn't get. We'll cleanse this
It's
world
too far
of your
away.
kind. You'll not leave this place.
I need to target something.
Swagger all you like. You pups don't stand a chance. Bleed now, you cross the
I need a target.
Starfinder. I'll slaughter you all.
Alright. Never got a chance to touch the iris.
Something about you seems...
Have you succeeded in
familiar.
acquiring the focusing iris? We were successful.
Speak
Praise
freely,
the Titans.
friend.
They have returned.
Not entirely unexpected.
You sure you want to praise
Excellent.
the Titans there,
We
Ysera?
will begin the ritual at once.
The ritual will take much from us, as it requires a very piece of our being. We will be weakened greatly.
Heroes, this burden falls to you once again. You must protect us from Deathwing's forces, while we imbue the Dragon's soul with the power of the aspects. Speak to me when you are ready to begin.
Alright. Let's do it.
Loktar, friend. What is it
We
you
must
wish?
place this burden on your shoulders once again. You must protect us from Deathwing's forces while we imbue the soul with the powers of the great aspects of Azeroth.
You may begin your ritual. We will defend you. Yep, start the encounter. I find it funny that Deathwing is just kind of chilling and not really like, hello, what are you all doing over there? Unless this is now him doing that.
It is good to see you again, Alexstrasza. I have been busy in my absence. Twisting your pitiful whelps into mindless abominations, bent only to my will. It was a very painful process.
Oh, I'm aware. I saw your son's handiwork as well.
They are my clutch no longer. Bring them down.
Oh, by the way, read up on some of the messed up stuff that Deathwing tried to do to Alexstrasza. It's pretty messed up.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Get used to hearing the big bad wolf there quite often.
I don't have a time.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
I can't help it, I just always find that hilarious. And I know I'm not the only one. Run away, little girl. Run away.
Run away, little girl.
I need to get closer.
Come on.
Run away, little girl.
Get closer. 11 remaining. Yeehaw.
It's too far away.
Run away, little girl. Run away, little girl.
Target something.
Come on.
Run away, little girl.
I need to get closer.
Run away, little girl.
Alright, 7 left.
It's too far away.
Run away, little girl.
Target something.
Run away.
Come on. You get me. Come on.
I'm out of range.
Run away, little girl. Run away, little girl.
2 left. Look how they are basically channeling everything they have into the dragons.
Target something first.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What else you got, Deathwing?
Mere wells, experiments, a means to a greater end. You will see what the research of my clutch has yielded. Nefarian, Onyxia, Sinestra, they were nothing. Now you face my ultimate creation. The hour of twilight is nigh. The sun sets on your pitiful, mortal existence.
I sense a great disturbance in the balance approaching. The chaos of it burns my mind.
I was about to say, Sarah, if you say I sense a great disturbance in the Force,
The shadow
I'm gonna
which
slap you.
blots out the sun. The bell which tolls your doom. For this moment alone was I made. Look upon your death, mortal, and despair. Now is the hour of twilight. Strength of the earth, hear my call. Shield them in this dark hour. The last defenders of Azeroth.
It is
I'm not
done.
really sure.
Our power now resides within the Dragon Soul.
Hold on.
Our fate lies with you, Earthwarder.
Taretha, Cairn, Agra, I will not
Cairn.
fail you. I will not fail this world.
Welcome.
Oh, no. You mean give me a chance to loot? He's making a run for it. Okay. Alright, let me see. Fingers crossed that I got the mount.
He is heading to the maelstrom. We must stop him now. We may never get another chance if he escapes into Deepholm.
I was gonna say, I'm not sure whether or not to compare Ultraxian there to like Frankenstein's monster or not, but I don't think it would be a completely inaccurate comparison there. So yeah, Orgrim's hammer is down, and all we have left is the Alliance's gunship here to try and... We're basically now chasing Deathwing, because Deathwing was super cocky there, but as soon as we hit him with that blast there from Thrall, from the Dragon Soul, that hurt him. And that's when he got scared, and he's like, oh no, they could actually kill me. Nope, I'm out. I'm out of here. So he's trying to escape. He's trying to get Bolt out of here before we can finish him
pure
off.
adrenaline.
Welcome aboard the Skyfire. Are you ready to chase down the end of the world?
We are the Horde. We are always ready.
I'm gonna turn this down. I think the game is a little too loud. If that was a little too loud, I apologize. Hopefully that's better for you guys. Alright. Alright, so yeah, they're basically trying to help keep that charged up for Thrall. I like how this is our map now. Alright, so I forgot to read this before that encounter. More an abomination of dark energy than a dragon. Ultraxian has spent his short life absorbing the essence of captured nether dragons. Ultraxian is the only Twilight dragon Deathwing has praised, and his arrogance is overshadowed only by the crackling energy surging through his twisted form. Loyal to his master, Ultraxian swears to bring about the fall of Wyrmrest Temple. Next up, we're about to face War Master Blackthorn. Though once vast in number, only a few dozen Twilight dragons now remain. Astride these hardened survivors are the last vestiges of the Twilight's Hammer's army. The elite Drake Riders of Deathwing's personal escort, led by the insidious War Master Blackthorn. They move with unholy purpose, driven to protect their dark master. So yeah, this next encounter can be a little tricky.
It's not tragic to die.
We're catching up to the dragon. I think I can make him out through the cloud cover. Bring us in closer. Start the encounter.
All ahead, fool. Everything depends on our speed. We can't let the destroyer get away.
I was hoping you'd make it this far. You'd best be ready for a real fight.
Our engines are damaged.
You best be ready for a real fight.
3, 2, 1.
You won't get near the master. Dragon Riders, attack!
I like my pose there.
Stations. Keep those monsters away from the ship.
Get down here. Come on.
3, 2, 1.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Beware.
Come on.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Beware. In case you can't tell, I have several mods
2, 1.
going right now to help me out here, especially with this raid. This raid forced me to get a number of mods. This one raid alone did that.
2, 1. Beware, girl. Give them hell. Run away, little girl. Run away. Run away, little girl.
Come on, just 2 more. Sapper.
4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beware, little girl. Give them hell.
Come on. Get down here and face me.
Four, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Beware, little girl. Give them hell. Run away, little girl. Run away. Run away, little
Come on.
girl.
On the armored
Run
Drake.
away. Run away, little girl. Run away. Looks like I'm doing this myself. But I wonder
All right.
if you're good enough to best him.
It's next. I'm dreading this. Okay. Next is the fight that I've been mentioning. The fight that everybody hates. The spine of Deathwing. When Deathwing first channeled the Dragon Soul's power against the other flights, the massive energies that were unleashed threatened to break apart his very body. Rather than forego this weapon, he had adamantium plates fused to his scales to hold his body together. Later reinforced with elementium, these plates are now his weakness, the sole vulnerability to Deathwing's lethal presence. The madness of Deathwing. A warped mass of molten hatred and unfathomable power, this formless, mindless horror cannot be stopped. Whatever was left of Neltharion and the Earth War is long gone, his mind and soul corrupted and devoured by his old god masters. All this monster's being desires is destruction, annihilation, and the end of all things. Deadly. This right here, this is the one mechanic here that just drives everybody batty, including myself. Roll. Throughout the encounter, Deathwing tries to throw players from his back when he senses that they are all standing on the same side of his spine. During a roll, Deathwing throws off all players and other creatures are not attached to his back to instant death. This is one of the most annoying mechanics I have ever had to deal with. This right here alone is what forced me to have to get all these mods, like bigwigs, specifically for this fight. Because I had to be able to visually see the timers of how long it takes for him to sense me on his back before he decides to do a barrel roll. That's what he does. Do a barrel roll. I've never heard anyone ever talk positively about this boss fight. As far as I know, everyone hates this boss fight. And I don't blame them. I hate it. This one boss fight alone makes me not want to go through this raid to farm some of the stuff in here, like the mounts, because I don't want to have to deal with this boss fight every time, where you have instantaneous death and you have to start all over from the beginning. So if you have to do it 3 times. You have to get the plates to be removed 3 times and you win the fight. If you do it 2 times and then you get thrown off, you gotta start over from the beginning. I hate that. I hate that a lot. I'm probably going to go quiet during the fight. I'm not gonna be providing much commentary probably because I'm gonna be trying to stay entirely focused on what I need to do, because I don't want to have to do this over and over and over.
Fear causes hesitation, and hesitation will cause
Little Hand says
your
it's time
worst
to
fears
rock and
to
roll.
come
Everyone
true.
into the hold. We've got a dragon to kill. For the Horde! Yes, start the encounter. As much as I hate it, start it.
Plates. He's coming apart. Tear up the plates, and we've got a shot at bringing him down. Don't worry about
away,
me.
little girl.
Stop the
Run
destroyer.
away, little girl.
Ancient Papaneeks.
Run away,
Beware. 4, 3, 2.
Run away, little girl. Run away, little girl. Run away, little girl. Run away.
Yeah.
Beware. 4, 3, 2. Beware.
Pointless. You ride into the jaws.
Beware. 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 Beware.
Fit only to be brushed from my
Beware. 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 Beware.
cling while you can.
Beware.
And your world.
Beware.
Run away, little girl.
Beware.
Run away, little
Beware.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Beware.
Run away, little girl. Run away. Run away, little girl. Run away.
Beware. Beware.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
4.
Run away, little girl. Run away, little
Beware.
girl.
Beware. Beware. Beware.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Beware.
Run away, little girl.
Beware. Beware.
Run away, little girl.
Beware.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Beware. 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 Beware.
Heroes. You and your
Beware. Beware.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Beware.
Run away, little girl.
Beware.
Run away.
Beware. Beware.
Run away, little girl.
Beware.
Run away, little girl.
Beware. I carry you. Beware.
Run away, little girl. Run away.
Beware. 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 Beware.
Little girl. Run away.
Beware.
Little girl. Run away.
Beware. 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 Beware.
Oh,
Beware.
come on.
Beware. Insignificant. Beware. Beware. Beware.
Run away.
4, 3. Beware. Beware.
Run away, little girl. Run away. Run away, little girl. Run away.
4, 3. Beware.
Run away, little girl.
Beware.
Oh, I did it. Oh my gosh, I did it. Oh. It's over. Oh, it's over. I made it. I made it through it. Did that seem like a fun fight to you? Wasn't that fun, watching me have to run back and forth like that within every 10 seconds to make sure I didn't get thrown off his back? Hearing those alerts over and over and over and over like that. Visually seeing the 10 seconds in the middle of my screen like that, that became invaluable, because the first time I got thrown off maybe 10 times, and I was like, I have to find something to help me. I don't know who came up who designed that boss fight, but man, did they really really mess up. I will say that cutscene though just now was pretty cool, seeing him get blasted and then him falling into the maelstrom here at Deepholm. Alright. Well, it's not that one that you get the cool loot from, it's the next one, so let's see. Ooh. The backbreaker spalders. I don't have those. Alright. So you'll notice now, the aspects are here in their dragon form. There's Alexstrasza, there's Nosdormu, there's Ysera, and there is Caligos. So we're all like, hey, we did it! We defeated Deathwing! Yay! He fell into the maelstrom getting blasted by the Dragon Soul. He's dead! We've won! We've saved the world! Yay!
Oh,
right?
Fred.
Right?
What is it you wish?
Look at all the things here.
It is done. At last, the Destroyer has met his end. begin to heal our world.
You have accomplished the impossible, succeeded where all Azeroth feared you would fail. Before you is the cache of the aspects. Take from it what you will, for you have more
I already did.
than the right.
Although you may want to hurry.
Yeah, Nosdormu became quite relevant in this. Remember, he's the aspect of time. As in, he can be able to see all the different outcomes of the past and the future. So he's like, yeah, you're probably going to want to hurry. He basically should right now be saying, hurry! He's about to come back up! We haven't beaten him! Get ready!
Loktar, friend.
Do you hear
What is
that?
it you wish?
What is that noise? Inconceivable. He couldn't possibly be alive.
You have done nothing! I will tear your world apart!
I will bring you closer to the Emerald Dream. Seek safety there when the fight becomes too intense.
Whee!
Run away, little girl!
Come on.
Run away.
And whee! Come on. There we go. And back over here.
I will cleanse whatever corruption I can.
Run away, little
My
girl!
fire will not harm you.
I will charge you with arcane energy to blast
Run away, little girl! Run away. Deathwing, the destroyer. Run away, little girl! The end of all things. Inevitable. Indomitable.
Time. I will expend everything to bind every thread. Here, now, around the Dragon Soul. What comes to pass will never be undone.
That's it. Now is it going to show the cutscene? Yep. Alright, let's see the cutscene. Ugh, Agra.
I can feel the elements awakening, rejoicing. The cataclysm is over.
The champions who fought at our side assured the survival of our world. But now, we must see it with mortal eyes. We dragon aspects have fulfilled our great purpose, and our ancient power is expended. But though our day draws to an end, life endures, and new generations will be born. Today's victory belongs to all who stood against the shadow. You are Azeroth's true guardians, and the future of this world is in your hands. For the dawning of the Age of Mortals has begun.
Not too fond of that cutscene. That's like the last piece of him remaining over there. Because as you saw, pretty much all the rest of him got vaporized there by what was left of the Dragon Soul. Alright, fingers crossed. Let's go check the loot chest. Whee! Ooh. Okay, I'll take it. Ooh. I was actually hoping to get this sword. That's a cool looking sword. Whew. No mounts. It's not exactly one of my favorite cutscenes they've done there. I think the way they ended Wrath was so much better compared to this. So that is the raid. It's not a terrible raid, but it just feels like they went about it the wrong way. You know, the Spine of Deathwing put a bad taste in everyone's mouth when it came to looking back on this raid. And when you think about it, like that last encounter there, the Madness of Deathwing, just where it's just pieces of him, his body's literally coming apart. You know, he's like struggling with the last parts of him remaining to try and accomplish his goal of destroying everything while he's literally coming apart, and we're trying to finish him off. But it just feels like that's not how the final encounter with this incredibly powerful, destructive dragon should have been. I mean, I know we've had other generic dragon fights before. I mean, Onyxia and Nefarian are two examples of this, but it just feels like they could have made this more. They could have made this more epic. It could have been so much more and so much better. Like, the potential for a counter like this, I think, could have been a lot more. But, I don't know. So, let's see.
Do not confine
The loss of my power, the dragon soul has returned to its original place in time. Oh yeah, that was a cool little thing that we actually went back in time to grab the dragon soul during the War of the Ancients, to bring it here to the future for us to use against him, and then we're gonna bring it back, and then we sent it back to where it was. That's a cool little use of time travel that I really like.
All life is to be treasured.
Now you must usher in a new age, the age of more. Yeah.
We all play a part.
This cannot be. Is it finally over? I must be dreaming again.
What brings you
Together
to me,
we have achieved
mortal?
the impossible.
You seem troubled.
I'm sorry. I'm one of those who does not like Agra.
Friend.
I
What is it you wish?
Rejoice, the cataclysm is over.
By the way, that fragment goes. I found it in Orgrimmar. It's on display in Orgrimmar. If you ever want to rewatch this cutscene, though I don't know why you'd want to do that. I'd rather rewatch the cutscene from the end of Ice Crown Citadel, because that just felt like a much more awesome way to end the expansion compared to this. So, yeah, that was Dragon Soul. I think the legacy of Dragon Soul is that it goes in history as a letdown. I think it let a lot of people down. They were really expecting this to be incredible, and we got what we got, which includes the Spine of Deathwing, which I'm sure many people look back on and just they let their view of Spine of Deathwing hurt their view, but I'm one of those as well. I think that encounter really sours everyone's view of this raid, including my own. But what do you expect when you have to deal with an encounter like that? So, that effectively marks the end of Cataclysm. So, that means next time we will be shifting to the next expansion, Missa Pandaria. So, I was confused by this here until I realized these are old world bosses that you just find on Pandaria. So, we're going to be doing the vaults next, which I enjoy because you get to go through the entire raid with Lord Walker Cho, which is awesome, because I love Lord Walker Cho. The Heart of Fear, this is an interesting one. I have some things to say about this one, because the zone that this takes place in, I really liked and enjoyed the story of that zone. I always wanted to go back and finish the story of that zone. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Then is the Terrace of Endless Spring. And then the Throne... Oh, these last two. The Throne of Thunder. Whoo, boy. This one... This one. Yeah. And then... The Siege of Orgrimmar. Oh, boy. This is a little bit more trickier to solo than this one. But... Yeah, pretty much next time when we come back, we'll be heading into Miss Pandaria and doing the Magushan vaults, and we get to spend some time with Lord Wakacho. Stay tuned.